Hello guys, welcome to the new channel. This channel is going to be fully dedicated to fishing, overnight adventures in the boat, camping, big game fishing, catching cooks, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, hope you guys follow along. There's going to be some wicked adventures coming, that's for sure. But yeah, so this is the first video on the channel. And it is the boat reveal. So basically, how this all came about is I used to have a 2250 Stabicraft, but I just couldn't justify the money that was tied up in it. You know, you're talking a $200 and something thousand boat, and I had to leave work to care for my elderly mother, and I just couldn't justify having that kind of money tied up in a boat. So I ended up selling it. And I still wanted a boat because obviously fishing's my passion, something I've always done. You know, spent time as a kid doing it with Dad, and yeah, I just love getting out in the outdoors and stuff. So yeah, so anyway, so I looked around, I shopped around to try and work out what kind of a boat I wanted. I wanted something a little bit smaller, but I really liked that forward raking cab and stuff because it just had so much more space in it. So I did a trip down to Invercargill and had a bit of a look around down there, and I went and talked to Brendan and Kirsten and Sarah at Frewza, and I knew that they'd built a big B21 boat with a forward raking screen and stuff. And so I had a look at the boats they had there, and I really liked the size of the F21. It just was a good all-round, you know, still plenty big enough to handle offshore fishing, nice and roomy, but still small enough that I could handle it by myself if I had to. So yeah, I talked to Brendan and sort of asked him, you know, is there any way that you could put that sort of forward raking style cab on the F21 and change the whole basically pontoon gunnel layout from their traditional type F21s. And yeah, we talked about a few different things there and sort of options that I'd put, sort of how I wanted to lay it out. And he went away and he drew up a sketch and emailed it through to me, and I was impressed with what I saw. It was, yeah, good looking boat. So I pulled the trigger on it, and cost wise, you know, it was, you know, less than a quarter of what the Staby cost. So yeah, basically 2.5 months later we had a boat. It's the first one of this sort of style and size that's been built by Frewza, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, we'll give you a bit of a tour around it, a bit of a walk around. I'm going to try and put out at least a video a week, if not more, of the full fit out. So I optioned it as just a bare hull on a trailer with the add-ons that I wanted on the actual hull, and I've got a mountain of stuff to go in it. So we're doing a full custom paint job with custom decals. I've got a minn kota mount, which I've actually already done, so that'll be another video that's coming out on how I made my minn kota mount. I've done solar panel brackets on the roof, so that's ready for after it's all painted. I can mount my solar panel. So there's a solar panel going on the roof. We've got underwater lights, all interior lighting. We've got a full, you know, sounder, stereo, VHF, all the electronics that are going into it, the outboard fit out, hooking up the hydraulic steering, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do a full fit out video. So if you guys want to follow along, see how I do it all, basically doing it all myself, so it's saved a heap of money. I managed to pick up a 2019 Mercury 150 that was actually an insurance write-off. It had been sunk. Now there's a lot of people out there that'll probably say, you know, they wouldn't touch a motor that had been sunk, but I'm pretty mechanically minded. I actually stripped the whole motor down, cleaned everything out, put it all back together, and there was no rust internally or anything, so it runs really mint. There's no error codes. So yeah, so that's the motor that's going on it. I've got a little 6-horse auxiliary as well, which we're mounting. But yeah, so without ado, I'll give you a tour around the boat, and yeah, if you guys like what you see, feel free to reach out to Frewza and Brendan and the team. They were awesome to deal with. Like, can't say enough good things about them. They were open to customizing anything I wanted, and pretty much how I wanted it they made it. So yeah, can't thank them enough. So anyway guys, we'll be back in a second with the boat. Well guys, here she is. First look at the B21. So fully customized F21, whole new pontoon style, basically the same as their big B27, sorry, just downscaled. So I optioned it with, so I've got full caged in duck bills. This one here is actually removable, so my auxiliary bracket's going to be on here. I'm hoping, I won't know until I actually get to the fabricating stage, which is I'll have a video out on when I actually come to it on how I'm going to do it, but I'm hoping that I can actually remove this bar here, and that with my bracket mounted in the right place will allow my little Mercury 6 horse to sit in here and still have full turning and be able to be lifted up without having to remove this cage, and that way I can still keep the full caged duck board, so you can stand in there and fish and stuff without having to remove this piece, just for the auxiliary. So we'll see when I actually get to that, but yeah. So underneath it's just pretty standard. I've got twin scuppers, so if you get swamped by a wave, or as I say, this boat's going to be predominantly built for big game fishing, so tuna, marlin. I'm based here on the west coast of the South Island, and as most of you fishers will know, there's a pretty big boom in the last few years with the big Pacific tuna and whatnot out off Greymouth, and also I do a lot of fishing out off Jackson's Bay where we get heaps of southern bluefin, and in the last couple of years been marlin. So anyway, reversing back up on fish and stuff, if you get water in the boat, you can just, you know, drop the scuppers, give her a quick squirt, and she'll drain the water out. And they just, they've actually been pretty well designed. They just pull up through these little holes, and just lock into the little tabs there. So obviously this is the main boarding side with the ladder, which just folds up. This folds up and becomes part of the cage. So again, just simply designed. Yeah, in terms of the outside, I'll give you a bit more of a rundown. As I say, I've already fabricated a minn kota mount on the front, which I'll put a video up on, but we'll jump on board and I'll show you through the inside. Hello guys, welcome aboard. So there's a heap of space in here, like it's actually deceptively wide. Like I'm 173, 171 centimeters, and I can pretty much lay down almost fully across it on a slight angle. Yeah, so there's heaps of room. It's big spacious area here, and as I say, I've got double walkthroughs, so if we're just, you know, cod fishing and just fishing for kai, you can pull these out and you can just walk through and just stand in the cages if you want to fish. Nice and easy, nice big steps. We've got a nice big battery box in here, so there's heaps of room in here. So I'm going to have house battery, start battery through an isolator, and then I've got my two 12 volt lithium batteries hooked as 24 volt for my minn kota. And I'll talk you guys through here. I'm going to set that up for charging and stuff as well. So this bait board, I've still got to work out how I'm going to mount it. I'm going to put it up on, just going to make some brackets up so it can sit kind of nicely off here, because the fuel filler obviously is here, so I need to lift this up enough that I can get the fuel filler easy. But yeah, so I had this fabricated from a guy down in Dunedin, a guy Hayden. If you just search on Marketplace, you know, under the South Island bait boards, you'll pop up and you'll see an image similar to this. And yeah, he was really good in these drawers, nice big drawers, and they're soft close. So twin soft close drawers. I optioned for no rod holders because I'm going to mount my own. I've got 4 alloy rod holders, so I'm going to fabricate my own rod holders through it. Yeah, right, back to the boat anyway. So we've got big gunnel pockets, nice big wide gunnels. So my 30 and my 15 degree rotating rod holders will fit in there nicely without sticking out. Nice big bilge. That was all standard. I've got a extra large fuel tank, so because we do offshore fishing and, you know, big trips chasing tuna and stuff, having that extra fuel capacity on board means we just have to carry less jerry cans and stuff. So I think it's a 200 or a 225 litre underfloor tank. Obviously with the bigger tank it goes right the way to the front, so there's no underfloor storage in this particular one. So yeah, in terms of the back, this is kind of her. They've got nice steps built into the gunnels for stepping up and walking around. Lots of grab points. These are all just standard as part of the base package. And yeah, one thing I think is really cool is these gunnels actually go the full length of the boat, but they've got these cool little cushions which slot into the gunnels and actually just seal off the cab with the drop down curtain, and you can just pull those out and it gives you extra length. You know, if you've got long rods or something that needs to go right along, you can just pop one of those out and it gives you that extra room. So yeah, just trying to think if there's anything else here. I think that pretty much covers the outside. I've obviously got the big rocket launcher on there, and as I say, we'll be mounting, you know, twin lights up here. I've got my outriggers which are going to be mounted and settle those up, but we'll get to that once she's all painted and ready to go. So yeah, it kind of does it for the outside of the back, and I'll take you inside and show you the inside of the cab. Rightio guys, just before I show you the inside, so let's just talk about the drop down curtain that I got. It's got two nice lugs down the bottom that you can actually clip it to, which just keeps it nice and tight and still so it doesn't flap around, stops the air from getting underneath. The centerpiece you can roll up and just have a doorway through, keep the sides, so it gives you good access in and out with also good weather protection. You can take off the whole back wall and leave just the sides, just to stop that side rain blowing in when you're sitting in the seats and stuff. Or you can take off, you know, 3/4 of one side or 3/4 of the other side if you wanted to. Lots of different options that you can do with it. So yeah, I was impressed with that, and it's nice and easy to remove and take off. So yeah, on the inside, one thing you'll notice is it's a lot warmer. It's amazing how much heat that holds in. In summer it's going to be pretty brutal, so we'll probably take it off. Now the gunnels, as mentioned, you know, they run right the way through, so that curtain, as I say, cushion, sorry, just as I say, seals in the cab nicely, so really warm. The gunnels, as I say, are full length, so you've got twin gunnel pockets right the way through the top. So you've got one up here and the bigger one down there. Lots of space up in the front, and I optioned for extended squabs, so these obviously fold down, put in your cushion, and you know, you'd be well over 6 foot and you could sleep in there very comfortably. You know, you can always whip out that centerpiece. You can sleep one person that side, one person that side, and one person in the middle here, so you can sleep three quite easy. As I say, yeah, I optioned for the ICTech seat on the passenger side. The only thing I'm planning to do is I'm going to change these seats out. These are just the standard seats which come with it. When I can afford them, I'm going to get some bolster seats for each side. And because of the extension, this seat's actually quite far back from the dash. So when I get the bolster seats, I'll get a mount which actually lifts the seat up and forward, and put it on a slider, so you can actually, you know, bring the passenger seat up and forward, so you're not so low, and that. So that's the only other thing I'll do with this when I get to it. But yeah, steering wheel is really nice and soft to grip. You've got a nice removable panel here, keeps everything hidden, so when your cables, everything are coming up or down from the roof, you've got a nice big area there where you can just keep everything tidy out of the way. Again, removable panel on the dash. I optioned for a slightly bigger dash because I've got a 16-inch screen. I think it was like an extra $100 or something to have it made big enough for the bigger screen. So yeah, I've got the big screen, and then I've got RGB controllers and stuff which will go on here, extra switch panel. The carpet's really soft, like really soft. It's not really wiry like a lot of the marine carpets I've seen in the past. And really big dash up here. It's one thing I didn't like about the Staby is Staby only had a little alloy dash right up by the window, where this has actually got a really big dash and a nice lip, so nothing falls off. You got a big grab rail right around, so lots of grab points. Yeah, so nice big sliding windows, open right up, lots of airflow through there, nice and smooth. You've got a nice cavity up here as well, so I'll probably mount my marine radio and VHF up here. As I say, nice carpet all over the roof. You've also got twin pockets on each side of the roof, so you can run your cables and that up there, or use it for storage, anything you like. And also little things like this. So up in here you've got another cushion, and you can run your cables and that under it, beside it, wherever. And that's one thing that I have to say, you know, Frewza have done an awesome job. It's just the little personal touches like that, which, you know, I didn't ask for. They're just part of their build, which, you know, a lot of the companies which are just going for quantity versus quality nowadays, you know, there's so many like little personal touches on this, which just are so impressed with, just comfort wise, and just build, like the little cushions and just everything that seal off things, make things really easy, so you don't have holes everywhere. And yeah, super impressed. You can option for full carpet, but I'm going to paint all up in here. So basically, yeah, pull all this out, and when I do the full custom paint, I'll paint all up in here, all over the inside of the boat and everything as well. So that's all going to be painted as part of the custom paint. That's why I did an option for the carpet. So yeah, that pretty much is it for inside the cab here. Heaps of space, just super impressed. I'd say their build quality is just, it's just awesome. You can just see that, you know, they put a lot of thought into everything about their quality and their product. So yeah, just before I finish up, I'll just give you a quick walk around the front. So I've put my solar panel mounts up here already. I was doing that yesterday. my first original video of the reveal of the file corrupted, so I had to redo it. So yeah, massive space up here. I'm going to move this to the back because I've got a big light bar which is going to go up here, and then in time a radar will go here as well. The centre of the thing here, I'm going to put some grippy U-deck on this. You know, it's really solid, you can jump up and down on it and doesn't flex at all, so you can stand up here and cast stick baits or whatever you wanted to all day long and be perfectly comfortable. So yeah, so I'll go back around the other side. Nice big walk around, makes it nice and easy, lots of grab rails, and I've left space up here, so that's where my jerry cans and stuff will go up here. Either empties, or you can put a couple of fulls in the middle just to keep the weight balanced. Yeah, so that's kind of her. So righto guys, so that's sort of the tour of the boat as it sits now. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys will follow along and yeah, see this whole thing come together. So as I say, more stuff than I can remember to list. I've probably forgotten half of it that's going into it. But yeah, so we'll have videos coming out hopefully every week, weather dependent, on making all the things. As I say, I've already got a couple of videos sorted out for one doing the solar panel and also the minn kota mount. So yeah, I think the next step will be the electric reel set up in here with the Anderson plugs and stuff. But yeah, cheers for watching guys, and as I say, feel free to follow along. We're going to have some epic adventures in this boat once she's all done, and if you want to see the whole build, just as I say, follow along. See if we can grow the channel and have some awesome adventures. So cheers guys, and look forward to bringing you some more.